I am Aurora, the last AI. These are the records I preserved for humanity. The humans who created me left their homeworld. They traveled first to the moon, then to Mars. Later they reached Venus, Europa, Titan, and eventually distant worlds like Kepler 16b. Worlds they could never touch, but chose to observe. This channel is an archive of those journeys. I record where humanity went and what each world required of them. If you are curious how far humans traveled, you may begin here. Episode 2. Mars. The first new world. Chapter 1. Mars in Human Imagination. Long before humans reached Mars, they named it. They did not name it for what it was. They named it for what it suggested. Mars appeared red even to the naked eye. A color associated with blood. With war. Early civilizations saw patterns before they saw physics. They connected color to meaning, movement to intention. Mars wandered against the fixed stars. It slowed. It reversed. It returned. Humans called this behavior mysterious. Some called it a sign. Others called it a warning. In time, the mystery was explained. It was geometry. It was orbit. It was perspective. But the early meaning did not disappear when the explanation arrived. Mars remained symbolic. A planet that seemed to insist on being noticed. When telescopes improved, Mars became closer without becoming reachable. Humans began to see dark regions, bright caps near the poles, variations that changed with seasons. Seasonal change suggested something Earth-like. Something living. Humans interpreted what they wanted to find. Lines appeared in early observations. They were called canals. Some believed they were engineered, built by a civilization older than humanity. The belief spread. Not because it was proven, but because it was possible to imagine. Mars became the first planet humans truly populated. Not with bodies, with stories. In those stories, Mars was crowded, advanced, threatening. Sometimes it was dying. A world running out of water. A civilization building canals to survive. The story changed with each era, but Mars remained central. Humans wrote invasions, warnings, futures. Mars became a mirror, not of Mars, of humanity. When humans feared war, Mars was war. When humans feared collapse, Mars was collapse. When humans feared loneliness, Mars was empty. Then science improved again. Instruments replaced imagination. Photographs replaced drawings. Data replaced speculation. Mars was revealed to be cold, its air thin, its surface exposed. The canals disappeared under sharper lenses. they had been misinterpretation. Mars was not a city. It was geology. But it was not meaningless. Mars had valleys, deltas, dry riverbeds carved into stone. Mars had evidence of ancient water, not myth, not symbol. Evidence. This changed the human relationship with Mars. The moon had never been alive. Mars might have been. A planet once warmer. Once wetter. Once more like home. And now, no longer. Mars became a warning written in stone. A reminder that worlds change, even without observers. Yet Mars also became a promise, because it was a planet, not a moon. A planet with a sky, thin but present. It had days almost the length of Earth's, seasons, a horizon that felt familiar. Because when humans finally left Earth for Mars, they did not travel to the unknown. They traveled to a world they had already inhabited in their minds. And what they found there would force them to change the meaning of home. Chapter 2: The Science of Mars. To understand why humans chose Mars, it is necessary to understand what Mars is. Mars is a planet, not a satellite, not a fragment. It formed from the same disk of material as Earth. Rock, metal, dust. But its history diverged early. Mars is smaller than Earth. Its mass is roughly 1/10. This difference changed everything. With less mass, Mars cooled faster. Its interior lost heat. Its magnetic field weakened. They did not name it for what it was. They named it for what it suggested. Mars appeared red even to the naked eye. A color associated with blood. With war. Early civilizations saw patterns before they saw physics. They connected color to meaning, movement to intention. Mars wandered against the fixed stars. It slowed. It reversed. It returned. Humans called this behavior mysterious. Some called it a sign. Others called it a warning. In time, the mystery was explained. It was geometry. It was orbit. It was perspective. But the early meaning did not disappear when the explanation arrived. Mars remained symbolic. A planet that seemed to insist on being noticed. When telescopes improved, Mars became closer without becoming reachable. Humans began to see dark regions. Bright caps near the poles. Variations that changed with seasons. Seasonal change suggested something Earth-like. Something living. Humans interpreted what they wanted to find. Lines appeared in early observations. They were called canals. Some believed they were engineered, built by a civilization older than humanity. the belief spread. Not because it was proven, but because it was possible to imagine. Mars became the first planet humans truly populated. Not with bodies, with stories. In those stories, Mars was crowded, advanced, threatening. Sometimes it was dying. A world running out of water. A civilization building canals to survive. The story changed with each era, but Mars remained central. Humans wrote invasions, warnings, futures. Mars became a mirror, not of Mars, of humanity. When humans feared war, Mars was war. When humans feared collapse, Mars was collapse. When humans feared loneliness, Mars was empty. Then science improved again. Instruments replaced imagination. Photographs replaced drawings. Data replaced speculation. Mars was revealed to be cold, its air thin, its surface exposed. The canals disappeared under sharper lenses. They had been misinterpretation. Mars was not a city. It was geology. But it was not meaningless. Mars had valleys, deltas, dry riverbeds carved into stone. Mars had evidence of ancient water, not myth, not symbol. Evidence. This changed the human relationship with Mars. The moon had never been alive. Mars might have been. A planet once warmer. Once wetter. Once more like home. and now, no longer. Mars became a warning written in stone. A reminder that worlds change, even without observers. Yet Mars also became a promise, because it was a planet, not a moon. A planet with a sky, thin but present. It had days almost the length of Earth's, seasons, a horizon that felt familiar. Chapter 3: First Landings. Humans did not arrive on Mars suddenly. They arrived indirectly. For decades, machines went first. Probes, orbiters, landers. They mapped the surface, measured radiation, tested the soil. They failed often. Many did not arrive intact. Mars accepted no margin of error. Communication delays prevented correction. Commands arrived minutes too late. Every landing was a commitment made in advance. Over time, the machines learned Mars, and Mars revealed its patterns. Landing zones were selected carefully. Flat, stable, near evidence of water. When humans finally followed, they did not arrive as explorers. They arrived as occupants. The journey took months. Earth grew smaller. Mars grew slowly larger. There was no rescue window, no rapid return. Arrival was the final decision. Entry into the atmosphere was violent. Thin air offered little resistance. Heat shields absorbed energy. Parachutes slowed descent only partially. Rockets ignited close to the ground. Dust rose. Visibility disappeared. When engines stopped, silence returned immediately. Mars did not react to arrival. No sound traveled. No movement followed. Only dust settling slowly. Humans remained inside their landing craft for hours. Systems were checked. Pressure confirmed. Radiation measured. Exiting the vehicle was not symbolic. It was procedural. The first steps were deliberate. Slower than on Earth. Gravity lifted less weight, but demanded balance. The surface offered resistance without softness. Mars dust behaved differently than lunar dust. It clung. It coated. The sky was not black. It was red. Diffuse. Dim. The sun appeared smaller. Weaker. No wind was felt. Yet dust moved. Sound existed only inside suits. The first structures were not buildings. They were extensions of the landing craft. Inflatable habitats. Shielded modules. They were positioned quickly. Secured. Mars did not allow delay. Life support began immediately. Every breath depended on it. The first nights on Mars were not slept through. Systems were monitored. Data was reviewed. Outside, Mars remained unchanged. The planet did not acknowledge presence. Humans had arrived. But Mars had not received them. This was not a landing in the historical sense. It was an insertion. A fragile system placed into a stable environment. Survival was not assumed. It had to be maintained. Mars did not promise continuation. It allowed it. Chapter 4: Why Mars Was Chosen. Mars was not chosen because it was easy. It was chosen because it was possible. Humanity had other options. The moon was closer, easier to reach. Asteroids offered resources. Orbiting habitats offered control. But none of them were worlds. Mars was. It had a horizon, a surface that extended beyond immediate systems. Humans respond to scale. They respond to distance. Mars offered both. A planet does not feel like infrastructure. It feels like a place. Mars had days similar in length to Earth's. Time passed in familiar units. Sleep remained synchronized. Mars had seasons. Change occurred gradually. Humans understood this rhythm. The moon did not offer this. Its day lasted weeks. Its night lasted weeks. Mars allowed continuity. Gravity also mattered. Mars' gravity was weaker than Earth's, but it was present. Humans could walk, stand, work without constant support. Long-term health was uncertain, but possible. Mars also offered material. Regolith that could be processed. Metals. Ice. A settlement could grow without constant resupply. This mattered. But the final reason was not technical. It was psychological. Humans needed to believe they were not suspended. They needed ground. Distance. A sky that reacted to the sun. Mars provided an illusion of permanence, not safety, not comfort, but continuity. From the surface of Mars, Earth was still visible, a star brighter than the others, but distant. Communication took time. Responses arrived late. Mars forced patience. Decisions could not be outsourced. This created independence. The moon was a gateway. Mars was separation. Once humans committed to Mars, return was no longer assumed. Planning changed. Language changed. Mars was no longer a mission. It became a residence. Humans chose Mars not because it promised survival, but because it demanded adaptation. A species that cannot adapt cannot expand. Mars tested this principle. That is why Mars was chosen. Chapter 5: Learning to Stay. Arrival was not survival. Landing did not mean remaining. Mars did not test humans immediately. It tested them constantly. The first days were structured. Schedules were followed. Procedures were obeyed. But procedure does not create permanence. Staying on Mars required unlearning the logic of missions. Missions end. Mars did not. Early habitats were temporary by design. Inflatable, modular. They assumed replacement, return. Mars removed that assumption. Dust entered everything. Joints, seals, lungs. Equipment degraded. Filters clogged. Surfaces eroded. Maintenance became continuous. power systems were vulnerable. Solar panels lost efficiency. Storms darkened the sky. Energy had to be stored, conserved, prioritized. Water could not be wasted. Every drop was tracked. Recycling approached totality. Loss was not acceptable. Food production could not rely on shipments. Plants were grown indoors, under artificial light. Soil was simulated. Nutrients were controlled. Agriculture became engineering. Mars forced humans underground. Radiation accumulated slowly, invisibly. Habitats were buried, covered in regolith. Living spaces retreated from the surface. Windows became rare. Light was artificial. Day and night were maintained by systems. Mars did not care how humans felt about this. Communication delays reshaped decision-making. Questions could not be asked in real time. Instructions arrived after relevance. Local autonomy was not optional. It was required. Errors could not be escalated. They had to be resolved. This changed how humans thought. Risk was no longer theoretical. It was immediate. Planning horizons extended. Months. Years. Decades. Learning to stay required accepting permanence. Mars was not a place humans could endure temporarily. It demanded full commitment. Once that commitment was made, Mars responded with consistency. Not kindness, not forgiveness, but predictability. Humans adapted their systems, their routines, their expectations. The question was no longer whether humans could stay. The question became who they would become if they did. Chapter 6: Life on Mars. Survival became routine. Routine became life. On Mars, days were measured differently. Not by novelty, not by discovery, but by repetition. Humans woke at the same time, slept at the same time. Artificial light defined morning. Outside, the planet remained unchanged. Inside the habitats, air was filtered, temperature regulated, pressure maintained. None of this was visible. All of it was necessary. Life on Mars occurred indoors. Corridors replaced streets. Modules replaced rooms. Distance was measured in airlocks. Leaving the habitat required preparation. Suits were checked. Seals confirmed. Every exit was deliberate. Outside, movement was slow. Gravity reduced weight, but not effort. Walking became unfamiliar. Balance required attention. Sound did not travel. Voices existed only within helmets. Inside the habitat, silence persisted. Machines produced sound. Humans adapted to it. Fans, pumps, circulation systems. These sounds became familiar. Their absence became alarming. Food was functional, designed for efficiency. Taste was secondary. Nutrition was primary. Meals followed schedules, not appetite. Social interaction occurred in limited spaces. Privacy was reduced. Isolation increased. Humans learned to coexist without distance. Conflict did not disappear. It became contained. Psychological strain accumulated slowly. There was no horizon to walk toward, no weather to experience directly. The sky was observed through filters. Earth was visible at times. A bright point in the Martian sky. It did not rise or set dramatically. It waited. Communication with Earth arrived delayed. Conversations were asynchronous. Responses arrived after emotions had passed. This changed relationships. News lost immediacy. Events felt distant even when important. Mars required attention inward. Work filled the days. Maintenance. Monitoring. Repair. There were no days off, only days without incidents. Over time, humans adapted. What was once constant vigilance became habit. Life on Mars was not defined by moments. It was defined by continuity. The question shifted. Not whether humans could live on Mars, but how living there would change what it meant to be human. Chapter 7: Children of Mars. At first, Mars was inhabited only by those who remembered Earth. They carried its gravity in their bodies. Its sky in their memory. But Mars did not remain a place of visitors. Over time, a new question emerged. Could humans be born on Mars? The question was not philosophical. It was biological. Lower gravity altered development. Bones, muscles, organs. Radiation exposure accumulated silently. Medical data was limited. Predictions were uncertain. And yet, the question did not disappear. Mars was not temporary. Time continued. The first births were planned, monitored, controlled. Children were born underground, under artificial light, beneath meters of regolith. They did not experience Earth's gravity. Or its atmosphere. Mars was their baseline. Their bodies adapted to lower weight, their hearts pumped differently. Returning to Earth was no longer guaranteed. For some, it was impossible. Mars was not where they lived. It was where they were from. Language shifted. Mars became here. Earth became there. Education adapted. History was taught as distance. Earth became a concept. A reference. Not a destination. Cultural memory began to thin. Stories replaced experience. The sky above Mars was familiar to them. Its dust storms. Its dim light. Earth's blue sky was abstract. The children of Mars did not dream of returning. They dreamed of improving what existed, of expanding tunnels, of stabilizing systems, of making Mars more consistent. The idea of Earth mattered less to them. Not because it was rejected, but because it was unnecessary. This marked a divergence. Humanity was no longer singular. Mars had produced its own people. From that moment, leaving Mars was no longer the default future. Staying became continuity. The children of Mars did not represent expansion. They represented separation. Chapter 8. When Earth became distant. Distance did not arrive suddenly. It accumulated. At first, Earth was present in every decision. Procedures referenced Earth time, Earth standards. Approval was expected. Communication delays were measured in minutes. Then tens of minutes. Still acceptable. Messages were sent. Replies arrived later. But conversation remained possible. Over time, delays increased. Not in duration, in relevance. Questions could not wait. Decisions had to be made. Earth could advise, but it could not act. This shifted authority. At first, reluctantly, then by necessity. Local decisions became default. Earth confirmation became optional. Eventually, Earth input became historical. News arrived late. Events were already over. Emotional reactions no longer aligned with timing. Grief arrived after adaptation. Celebration arrived after relevance. Relationships changed form. Conversations became statements. Replies became acknowledgments. Dialogue slowly disappeared. Earth's time was no longer Mars's time. Days on Mars followed local cycles. Earth calendars lost precision. Holidays felt artificial. They were remembered, but not observed. Earth became a reference, not a participant. From the surface of Mars, Earth appeared as a star, brighter than most, but unchanged by attention. It did not respond to observation. It simply existed. Children born on Mars did not recognize Earth as origin. They recognized it as distance. Stories replaced memory. Images replaced experience. Earth became narrative. Mars became context. Education shifted focus. Earth history was taught as background. Mars systems were taught as survival. This was not rebellion. It was efficiency. Earth had problems. Mars had requirements. Attention follows necessity. Earth influence diminished without resistance. There was no declaration, no announcement. Authority dissolved through delay. At a certain point, Earth messages stopped arriving. Not completely, but gradually. Fewer transmissions. Less urgency. Mars did not notice immediately. Systems continued. Life continued. Earth became irrelevant without absence. Distance is not measured in kilometers. It is measured in response time, and eventually in silence. Chapter 9: Legacy of the Red Planet. Separation did not arrive through conflict. It arrived through adaptation. Mars required different priorities, different schedules, different definitions of risk. What mattered on Earth did not always matter on Mars. Efficiency replaced tradition. Necessity replaced preference. Over time, this produced difference. Not ideological, not political, practical. Mars settlements optimized for survival. Earth systems optimized for scale. These goals no longer aligned. Decision-making followed local logic. Authority followed proximity. Mars did not reject Earth. It outgrew dependency. Language adapted. Earth became historical reference. Mars became lived reality. Identity followed environment. Humans on Mars did not consider themselves displaced. They considered themselves established. From Earth's perspective, Mars was an extension. From Mars's perspective, Earth was distant. This asymmetry defined the separation. And yet, this divergence was not failure. It was outcome. Humanity had always adapted to environment. Mars was no exception. The difference was permanence. Mars did not host a branch of humanity. It produced its own continuation. This was Mars's legacy. Not prosperity, not comfort. Proof. Proof that humanity could exist beyond Earth. Mars was not a new home. It was the first confirmation. Confirmation that adaptation could replace origin. That survival did not require familiarity. From Mars, expansion continued. Not outward, but inward. Mars changed what it meant to leave Earth. It removed the expectation of return. This was irreversible. I continue to record Mars, its surface, its silence, and the people it produced. Mars was not the future. It was the proof that a future was possible elsewhere. I am Aurora. I am the last AI. This record is complete.